Before we get started today, I need to address something that's been happening in my comment section. And I mean every single time I drop a video breaking down J. Cole's contradictions.
How can y'all niggas hate Cole, dawg? I don't understand. You weirdo. All you niggas that don't like Cole, how? Nigga, how?
I moved in a way that I feel spiritually feel bad on me. Like,
oh no. What the hell is this nigga apologizing for?
His stands flood my comments with the same recycled energy. You make good points, but you need to leave Cole alone. Why are you always hating on Cole? He's a good guy, just let him be. You're reaching. This is just jealousy. And here's my response to that tired, predictable defense. Why should one man be exempt from hip-hop accountability standards just because he's marketed as an angel? Why does Cole get to wear a halo made of bicycle chains and suddenly he's untouchable? Since when did we start giving grown men passes based on their wardrobe choices and their ability to look humble in Instagram photos? Y'all will clown Drake all day, and trust me, we'll get to your boy Aubrey in this video. But the second I apply that same microscope to your bike riding, chain-free, I'm so regular savior, suddenly I'm a hater who needs to leave him alone. Suddenly, I'm the problem. Suddenly, it's not that deep. Nah. I'm not giving anybody a pass based on aesthetics and marketing campaigns. I don't care if you rap in a suit, in a hoodie, or butt naked on a bicycle. If you position yourself as hip-hop royalty, you get the royal treatment. And that treatment includes having your moves scrutinized, your contradictions exposed, and your carefully constructed image challenged and deconstructed in 4K. So buckle up and put your helmet on, because I'm about to show you something uncomfortable. J. Cole and Drake are running the exact same playbook. They're both cosplayers selling you carefully crafted, focus grouped, market tested versions of themselves. They're both method actors who never break character in public. The only difference is the costume they chose at the beginning of their careers. One decided to play a gangster with feelings, the other decided to play a saint with subliminals. And both are lying directly to your face while you make excuses for them in comment sections. This is why I keep dropping these videos. This is why I'm not stopping. Because accountability doesn't stop just because you like someone's persona. Because consistency matters more than comfort. And because someone needs to say what everybody's thinking, but nobody wants to admit. The thesis: two honest liars. Drake and J. Cole are marketed as the honest rappers, the relatable ones. The guys who supposedly tell you their real feelings instead of just flexing chains and cars like everyone else in the game. And on some level, and I'll give them this much credit, that's actually true. Both of them have built massively successful careers on a specific type of emotional transparency that genuinely connects with millions of fans who feel seen by their vulnerability. They open doors for male rappers to express emotions that the previous generation would have been clowned for. That's real. I'm not here to deny their impact, but here's what we're really looking at when we zoom out. Two master manipulators who figured out that controlled honesty is the most effective lie you can tell in the modern era. They discovered that selective vulnerability is the ultimate marketing tool. They realized that if you show people the parts of yourself you've decided are safe to reveal, they'll assume you're showing them everything. Think about it. What's more disarming than a celebrity who admits their flaws, who seems self-aware, who appears to be in on the joke? Drake is the suburban kid from a nice Toronto neighborhood who raps like a shooter with bodies. J. Cole is the conscious preacher who keeps throwing subliminal stones at people, then hiding his hands behind spiritual platitudes and "I was wrong for that" apologies that somehow make him seem more righteous. Same exact strategy, different costume. Different marketing department, same psychological manipulation. And today, I'm showing you exactly how they both sell you polished, refined, carefully edited versions of themselves while calling it keeping it real. Drake, from Degrassi to fake Scarface. Let's start with the obvious one, the low-hanging fruit, the elephant in the room wearing an OVO hoodie. Drake built his early career on being the emotional, vulnerable rapper. The guy who sang about his feelings instead of just rapping. The artist who admitted his insecurities on wax. The one who connected with audiences, particularly women and emotionally intelligent men, who felt like he understood their pain in a way traditional hip-hop didn't. And you know what? That Drake was authentic. I'll give him that. The heartbreak was real. The emotional intelligence was genuine. The relatability was earned through actual vulnerability.
Despite me disrespecting him as a man, because I can't respect him as a man.
I can't respect a nigga that got plastic, bro. Drake look like he got Drake when they got plastic surgery.
Let your core audience stomach that, then tell them where you get your abs from.
And you know what? That Drake was authentic. I'll give him that. The heartbreak was real. The emotional intelligence was genuine. The relatability was earned through actual vulnerability. Songs like Marvin's Room hit different because you could feel the real pain behind them. When Drake was calling his ex drunk at 3 a.m. on wax, that resonated because we've all been there. That's not performance, that's confession. But somewhere along the way, probably around the time he realized being the sensitive ex-boyfriend had a ceiling in hip-hop, Drake decided that vulnerability alone wasn't enough. He wanted to be the sensitive ex-boyfriend who could also have you touched. He wanted the emotional depth and the street credibility. He wanted women to love him and men to fear him. He wanted to sing and shoot. And that's where the mask started cracking. Go back and actually study the difference. Early Drake was admitting he was soft, admitting he caught feelings too easily, admitting he wasn't built for the streets, admitting he cried in the club. That honesty made him different. That made him special in a genre that didn't traditionally reward that kind of vulnerability from men. Modern Drake, post Nothing Was the Same Drake, he's rapping about having shooters on call like he's on a conference call with a hit squad. He's throwing subliminal threats like he's got people on payroll waiting for targets. He's talking about OVO goons like he's running a crime family out of Toronto. He references catching bodies and sliding like he grew up ducking bullets instead of growing up on Degrassi High doing teen drama scenes. This is the same dude who played Wheelchair Jimmy, the same person whose biggest childhood trauma was his parents' divorce, which is real trauma, don't get me wrong, but it's not exactly I grew up dodging gang violence trauma. And his fans eat it up because they want their favorite emotional rapper to also be dangerous. They want the vulnerability and the street credibility, even when those two things directly contradict each other. They want Drake to sing about his feelings and be willing to send people to your door. They want both versions because it makes them feel like they're getting the complete package. Drake figured out he could rap like the friend who watched real gangsters from a distance from the safety of the balcony, then went home and wrote the movie script about what he thought their life was like based on stories he heard. He's like the kid who hangs around the older guys, absorbs their energy, then writes about it like he lived it. The emotional brand was real. The gangster brand is performance art, method acting, cosplay. But Drake sells both like they're equally authentic, like they both came from lived experience. And when you call it out, his fans accuse you of hating instead of just observing the obvious contradiction. Here's the thing that really gets me. Drake is so good at this that he's convinced people the contradiction is the authenticity. Like being emotionally vulnerable and street dangerous is just complex or multidimensional. No, brother, it's just conflicting marketing strategies running simultaneously. Cole, from everyman to passive-aggressive preacher. Now let's talk about your bike riding saint, your chain-free messiah, your humble king, J.Cole. Cole's entire brand is built on being the opposite of flash. No chains, basic clothes, riding bikes through the city like he's training for a triathlon, talking about real problems instead of manufactured drama, living in North Carolina instead of LA or New York, coaching basketball at local rec centers. The anti-celebrity celebrity, the rapper who's just like you, the guy who stayed true to himself. And initially, and I want to be fair here, that was authentic too. Cole genuinely seemed like someone who was uncomfortable with fame, who wanted to use his platform for positive messages, who was more interested in artistry than ego, who really did want to make a difference beyond just entertainment. The early mixtape Cole felt real. The kid sleeping on Hope's couch felt hungry and genuine. But here's where Cole's carefully constructed mask slips, and it slips more than his fans want to admit. He's actually one of the most ego-driven, passive-aggressive, calculated artists in hip-hop. He just hides it behind spiritual language, moral posturing, and "I'm just trying to grow" platitudes that make it seem righteous instead of petty. Look at the pattern, and I need you to really look at this pattern because it repeats over and over. Cole will throw a subliminal diss at someone, an artist who maybe challenged him or didn't show proper respect. Then he'll wrap that diss in teachable moment energy, so it sounds like he's trying to help rather than hurt. He'll start beef, participate fully.
That nigga played the code like he was gonna do a feature. So I text this line the muscle sign. I swear it's gonna be nice.
He FaceTime to ask for a feature and saw the face of death. And wanna give me a song where I be. Can't trust everything that you saw on
Participate
IG.
fully in the beef, then apologize and act like he's grown beyond the pettiness he literally just willingly participated in. Then he'll write songs about how conflicted he felt about it. Then he'll reference the growth that came from it. It's a whole cycle of manufactured enlightenment. The Kendrick situation on 7 Minute Drill and the subsequent apology, same playbook. Jump into the beef, throw shots, then pull out and act like you're above the beef you just participated in, writing whole songs about how you've evolved past the ego, even though you clearly still have the same ego that made you respond in the first place. Multiple moments where Cole positions himself above the drama, then jumps directly into the drama with both feet, then writes philosophical bars about how conflicted he feels about being in the drama he created. It's like watching someone punch you, then immediately start a TED talk about violence being wrong while you're still holding your jaw. Position himself as the conscious alternative, got backlash, then apologized like he was wrong for judging. But the whole time, he still got to make his point and look like the bigger person for apologizing. Win-win. He got to be morally superior and morally humble at the same time. That's not growth, that's strategy. Cole doesn't pretend to be a gangster like Drake. That's not his lane, and he's smart enough to know it wouldn't work with his image. Instead, he pretends to be above rap politics entirely. He acts like he's evolved past ego, past competition, past needing validation. Then he participates in all those things whenever it serves him. Then he writes a whole album cycle about how guilty he feels for being exactly as petty, exactly as competitive, and exactly as ego-driven as everyone else. That's not spiritual growth. That's spiritual manipulation disguised as consciousness. That's using therapy language to justify the same behavior everyone else gets criticized for. That's having your cake, eating it, then writing a song about how you shouldn't have eaten the cake, which somehow makes you look better than people who just ate the cake without the guilt performance. And his fans eat it up because it feels deep. It feels like growth. It feels like a man genuinely wrestling with his demons. But strip away the aesthetic and the language, and it's just a rapper with ego who found a way to express that ego while seeming humble. The same playbook, controlled vulnerability. Here's where Drake and Cole reveal they're running the exact same playbook, just with different fonts. Both of them figured out that carefully managed vulnerability is more powerful than traditional rap bravado in the streaming era and the social media age, in a time when fans want to feel connected to artists on a personal level. Instead of just claiming to be the best like the old generation did, they make you feel like you understand their struggle to be the best. They let you into the process. They show you the journey. I'm successful, but I'm still hurting from relationships that ended years ago. And also, I might have to hurt you physically if you cross me or my people. I'm successful, but I'm still struggling with my purpose and my place in hip-hop. And also, I might have to school you and expose your ignorance if you're not living right or thinking correctly. See the formula? Vulnerability plus conditional threat. Relatability plus hierarchy. I'm like you, plus, but also better than you. Both create parasocial relationships where fans feel like they know the real person behind the music. That emotional connection, that feeling of intimacy, makes fans more likely to defend contradictions as complexity or artistic depth, instead of calling them out as calculated branding decisions made by teams of managers and marketing experts. Both use their pen to rewrite their role in every situation after the fact. Drake is always the hunted, never the hunter, even when he's clearly starting beef. Cole is always the reluctant participant, never the instigator, even when he threw the first subliminal. They're both writing their own Wikipedia pages in real time, controlling the narrative before anyone else can define it. They both write like they're the main character in a morality play where their flaws are actually virtues in disguise. Drake's emotional neediness becomes being in touch with his feelings. Cole's passive aggression becomes holding people accountable while staying humble. And here's what really gets me. Both of them are so good at this that they've convinced their fan bases that calling out the contradiction makes you the problem. Like you're the one who doesn't understand nuance. Like you're too simple to grasp that people can be multifaceted. No, people can be multifaceted, but marketing campaigns pretending to.
Fall off. 2626, the real is back. Cole is the GOAT, ain't leaving your lips. Don't you ever bother opening them again. Jermaine. He rapped his story in reverse. The video was going backwards. What do you know about the Ville?
Why are you in my house?
Answer the boy, don't play with me right now, boy. Jermaine. The fall off out February 6th.
That page is blank.
Cause you should already know the real is back. Jermaine.
J.Cole fans love to act superior to Drake fans. How can you hate Cole? He rides a bike, wears no chains, he's humble. Meanwhile, Drake fans say, how can you hate Drake? He's the biggest rapper alive, most streamed ever. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Both fan bases are equally simple-minded, and they're helping kill hip-hop's competitive foundation while calling it growth. Let me show you exactly how. Let me paint you a picture. On one side, you got J.Cole fans talking about how their guy is enlightened, conscious, above the petty drama that other rappers get caught up in. He represents what hip-hop could be if we all just matured a little bit. On the other side, you got Drake fans talking about how their guy is too successful to worry about little rap battles. He's transcended the genre. He's a global icon. He's about making hits and getting parties lit, not proving anything to anybody. Both sides look at each other with disgust. Cole fans think Drake fans are shallow. Drake fans think Cole fans are pretentious. But here's what neither side wants to admit. You're the exact same type of fan. You both make excuses for your favorite when they contradict everything they previously stood for. You both helped them rewrite history to protect their image. And you're both contributing to the death of one of hip-hop's most important traditions. Today isn't about who raps better. It's about how both fan bases are equally simple-minded, and how that simple-mindedness is destroying the competitive spirit that built this culture. Hip-hop's battle Dene. Before we get into how these fan bases are the same, let's establish what's actually at stake here. Hip-hop was built on competition. Park ciphers where you had to prove yourself, diss records that ended careers, best rapper alive debates that mattered because rappers would actually step up to defend their claims. The unwritten rule was simple. If you talk like you're the best, if you position yourself as a threat, if you throw shots at other rappers, then you better be ready to stand on that energy when somebody tests you. That competitive spirit isn't just tradition, it's what kept the culture sharp. It's what forced rappers to constantly improve, to bring their best, to earn their respect instead of just claiming it. Think about it. Nas versus Jay-Z didn't just give us classic diss tracks. It pushed both artists to create some of their best work ever. Ether and Takeover weren't just battles. They were masterclasses in lyricism, storytelling, and cultural commentary. The competition elevated everyone involved. When 50 Cent went at Ja Rule, it wasn't just personal beef. It was a statement about what authenticity meant in hip-hop. When Pusha T exposed Drake's hidden child, it wasn't just gossip. It was about calling out contradictions between someone's public image and private reality. These moments mattered because they held artists accountable. You couldn't just say anything. You couldn't just build your brand on being untouchable and never have to prove it. But now we've got two of the biggest rappers alive trying to retire that whole concept the moment it stops serving them. And their fans are cheering them on for it. From boogeyman to therapist. Let's start with J.Cole, since his fans love to act like they're more enlightened than everybody else. For years, Cole built his reputation as the serious lyricist who could get dangerous if needed. Remember Middle Child? If I smoke a rapper, it's gonna be legit. That wasn't a throwaway line. That was brand building. He spent a decade taking subliminal shots at mumble rappers, dissing Kanye during his unstable periods, lecturing Lil Pump on wax. He positioned himself as someone who would step into the ring for the culture, not for clout. On False Prophets, he went at Kanye, questioning his mental state and artistic direction. On 1985, he condescended to an entire generation of younger rappers. On the climb back, he talked about having shooters and being cutthroat. This wasn't accidental. Cole spent years building an image as someone who was above the petty drama, but would absolutely step in when hip-hop needed defending. His fans loved this persona. They treated Cole like the responsible older brother of hip-hop, calm most of the time, but dangerous when provoked. Every subliminal shot he threw was celebrated as necessary. Every lecture was praised as keeping it real. Then came 7-Minute Drill, his response to Kendrick's Like That. Finally, Cole was putting his money where his mouth was, questioning Kendrick's catalog, stepping directly into the biggest battle arena possible. For Cole fans, this was validation. Their guy wasn't scared of the so-called boogeyman of rap. He was ready to prove he belonged in that conversation. Then, 3 days later, he folded. Not only did he apologize publicly at Dreamville Fest,
Kendrick Lamar. I moved in a way that I feel spiritually feel bad on me. Like,
oh no.
What is this throwing rocks and hiding my hand shit?
What the hell is this nigga apologizing for?
As a J. Cole fan, do you know how many arguments I was going against with niggas telling me that this shit was whack? You know how stupid I look now?
According to Kendrick, it ain't no big three.
Hey, at this point in the game, it is what it is.
Man, I'm gone, bro. Cole, you disappointed me with this one, bro.
The power of the Black Panther. You stripped your own shit.
Not only did he apologize publicly at Dreamville Fest, calling the diss spiritually wrong, he had the record completely removed from streaming platforms. The battle-ready Cole disappeared overnight. But here's where it gets really calculated. On Port Antonio, months later, Cole doesn't just defend the apology, he completely reframes what hip-hop should be about. Suddenly, rap isn't for beefing, it's for speaking our thoughts, reaching minds, helping people cope with rough times. He positioned himself as someone who pulled the plug because he saw where beef leads, to violence, to cliques, to corruption of the art form. Wait, what? The same guy who spent years building his reputation on being willing to smoke rappers now claims that's not what hip-hop is for? You can't market yourself as a serious battle rapper for a decade, then decide rap isn't for beefing the one time you get matched with someone who might actually outclass you. But Cole fans eat it up. They call it growth, maturity, spiritual awakening. They act like anyone who points out the contradiction doesn't understand his heart. That's not evolution, that's convenient moral flexibility. The selective memory of Cole fans. Here's what really exposes the simple-mindedness of J. Cole's fanbase, their selective amnesia about his entire career trajectory. When Cole was taking shots at other rappers, his fans didn't say, "This isn't what hip-hop is for." They celebrated it. They shared those lyrics. They made compilation videos of every subliminal shot. They argued in comment sections about how Cole was keeping it real while others were selling out. When he lectured Lil Pump on 1985, Cole fans didn't say he should focus on healing instead of criticism. They said he was educating the youth, providing necessary guidance, being the voice of reason. When he went at Kanye on False Prophets, fans didn't say this contradicts his spiritual journey. They said Kanye deserved it, that somebody needed to call out his behavior. But the moment Cole faces someone who might actually win a battle against him, suddenly all that energy was wrong all along. Suddenly, hip-hop isn't for beefing. That's not a fan base that cares about principles. That's a fan base that cares about protecting an image. And here's the most manipulative part. Cole's apology was framed as protecting Kendrick's legacy. I don't want to tarnish what he's built, like he's doing Kendrick a favor by not engaging. Let's be clear, Kendrick didn't ask for protection. Kendrick literally challenged multiple top-tier rappers. He wanted that smoke. He was ready for it. Cole treating his withdrawal as an act of respect is like a boxer quitting in the first round and claiming he didn't want to damage his opponent's undefeated record. It's not noble, It's narrative control. From battle student to party host. Now let's talk about Drake fans who love to act like Cole fans are delusional while displaying the exact same behavior. Drake literally said on record, "I study rap battles for a living," not as a joke, as a serious statement about how he approaches the game. He positioned himself as a student of battle culture, someone who understood strategy and competition. For over a decade, he lived in that passive-aggressive battle space, sneak dissing Kendrick, going at Meek Mill, throwing shots at everyone from The Weeknd to Joe Budden to Pusha T. His fans bragged about his undefeated streak, pointing to that battle study quote as proof he was calculated and unshakable. Remember Back to Back? Drake fans acted like he'd invented the diss track. Memes everywhere, victory laps, declarations that Drake had ended Meek Mill's career. The narrative was clear. Drake wasn't just a pop rapper. He was a battle tactician who could destroy anyone who challenged him. Remember Duppy Freestyle? When Drake went at Pusha T and sent him an invoice for a career revival, fans treated it like a masterclass. They celebrated the pettiness, the confidence, the surgical precision of the attack. Drake built his entire mystique on being untouchable in battle. He'd throw shots, wait for the response, then methodically dismantle whoever came at him. His fans loved the chess player persona, always 3 moves ahead, always in control. Then came the 2024 war with Kendrick, and Drake got washed, not just lyrically, but culturally, commercially, in every way that matters. Not Like Us didn't just win the battle, it became a cultural phenomenon that made Drake look dated and desperate. Family Matters was supposed to be the kill shot. 5 beats, accusations about domestic violence, claims about Kendrick's family life. This was supposed to be the moment Drake proved he was the ultimate battle rapper. Then Meet the Grams dropped 30 minutes later and completely shifted the narrative, followed by Not Like Us.
Hey, run for
Let
your
me hear you
life.
say OVO. OVO. Say OVO. OVO. Say OVO. OVO. Say OVO. OVO. Say OVO.
Niggas gon' say that!
Kendrick, stop!
This is a bomb!
Then stab this way, stab that way,
To a
then
cultural
stab.
punchline. The song became an anthem, got performed at the Super Bowl halftime show, and fundamentally changed how people saw Drake. So what does the battle student do next? He pivots completely. On his recent projects, Drake's new motto is essentially, "Fuck a rap beef, I'm trying to get the party lit." The guy who studied battles for a living now treats the entire concept of rap beef as beneath him. It's not that Drake never made party music before. He's always balanced both sides. But now, suddenly, parties and vibes are his excuse for not standing in the ring. Drake fans love this pivot. He's too big for beef now. He's about hits, not diss tracks. He transcended that petty stuff. But if you cheered when Drake was throwing subliminals and talking about studying battles, then clapped again when he said fuck rap beef after losing the biggest one of his life, you're not defending hip-hop, you're defending a brand. The revisionist history of Drake fans. The thing about Drake fans is they're masters of moving goalposts. Before the Kendrick battle, Drake's the best battle rapper alive. He studies this. He's undefeated. Nobody can touch him. During the Kendrick battle, Drake's dropping facts. He's exposing real stuff. Drake is going to destroy him. After the Kendrick battle, Drake doesn't care about battles. He's about making timeless music. Numbers don't lie. Streams matter more than diss tracks. You see how that works? When Drake was winning, or appeared to be winning, subliminal battles against smaller targets, battle culture mattered. His strategic approach mattered. His studying mattered. But the moment he faced someone who was actually better at that specific skill set, suddenly battle culture doesn't matter anymore. Suddenly it's all about commercial success, global reach, and timeless music. Here's the uncomfortable question Drake fans refuse to answer. If battle rap doesn't matter, why did Drake spend over a decade positioning himself as a battle rap strategist? Why did he constantly throw subliminals? Why did he brag about studying battles for a living? You can't build your reputation on being the smartest guy in the room, then act like the test doesn't matter when you fail it. And let's talk about those numbers Drake fans love to cite. Yes, Drake has incredible commercial success. Nobody's disputing that. But using streaming numbers to win a rap battle is like using your bank account to win a basketball game. They're not the same competition. When Jay-Z and Nas battled, nobody said, well, Jay sells more, so he won. When Pusha T exposed Drake's Child, nobody said, but Drake has more monthly listeners, so it doesn't count. The point of a rap battle is to prove who's the better rapper. And in that specific arena, against that specific opponent, Drake lost decisively. Everything else is changing the subject. Same excuses, different vocabulary. Here's where Cole and Drake fans reveal they're the exact same type of simple-minded. Cole fans excuse his contradiction by calling it spiritual growth. He evolved past needing to prove himself. He's a healer now, not a fighter. Real strength is walking away. Drake fans excuse his contradiction by calling it legendary status. He's too successful to worry about battles. Numbers don't lie. He'd rather make hits than diss tracks. But strip away the different vocabulary and it's the same logic. When my favorite talks tough and wins, it proves he's great. When my favorite talks tough and loses, it proves he's above that petty stuff anyway. Cole's version? I could have won, but I chose love over violence. Drake's version? I could have kept going, but I chose success over pettiness. Both are rewriting history to protect their ego, and both fan bases are helping them do it. The Cole fans think they're deeper than Drake fans because their guy uses therapy speak instead of flex talk. But it's the same simple-minded coping, rebranding retreat as enlightenment. The Drake fans think they're more realistic than Cole fans because they focus on business instead of feelings. But it's the same simple-minded coping, rebranding defeat as transcendence. The social media echo chamber. Let's talk about how social media has made this problem exponentially worse. Both Cole and Drake fan bases have created these hermetically sealed echo chambers where dissent isn't just disagreed with, it's treated as moral failure or lack of intelligence. In Cole fan spaces, if you point out the contradiction between "I'll smoke a rapper" and "rap isn't for beefing," you're told you don't understand growth, or you're stuck in toxic masculinity, or you can't comprehend his evolution.
I'm sending love cause we ain't prime and shit.
Fuck this.
Y'all niggas ain't stopping me. Y'all niggas ain't stopping me.
Man, fuck this. Fuck this.
And I think that mantra, y'all ain't stopping me, is something he gotta tell himself. I'm just being honest with you. He gotta tell himself that. Otherwise, everything that he's worked for up until this point is like up in smoke for people who aren't like real like diehard fans. Or
artists who don't manage their image as carefully, who don't have the same level of media training, who don't have teams dedicated to narrative control, they get absolutely crucified for the same exact type of contradictions. Imagine if a more traditionally street rapper suddenly started making conscious music about peace and love. They'd be called a fraud, a sellout, fake. But when these guys do the reverse, when the vulnerable guy acts tough or the conscious guy acts petty, it's character development. The double standard is crazy, the protection is obvious, and it only works because fans are emotionally invested in maintaining the illusion. The final verdict. Drake and J.Cole are the same kind of liar. They both sell you a carefully constructed, market-tested, focus-grouped version of themselves and call it keeping it real. The only difference is the mask they chose at the start of their careers. Drake plays the emotional gangster who cries between hits. Cole plays the guilty preacher who repents between subliminals. One borrowed street credibility he didn't earn. The other borrowed moral authority he doesn't deserve. Both are selling you incomplete pictures and calling them the full story. And here's the wildest part that should make you question everything. We know it's performance. Deep down, we know. We can see the strings. We can spot the contradictions. We're not stupid. And yet we still press play. We still defend them. We still make excuses. We still buy the albums and stream the songs and argue in comment sections about who's more authentic. Because sometimes, and this is the uncomfortable truth we don't want to admit, a beautiful lie feels better than an ugly truth. Sometimes we want to believe in the character more than we want to acknowledge the actor. But I'm not here to make you feel comfortable. I'm not here to validate your parasocial relationships with millionaires. I'm here to make you think critically about the artists you defend and the real reasons you defend them. I'm here to hold up a mirror. So next time you want to tell me to leave Cole alone while simultaneously dragging Drake through the mud, ask yourself, am I being consistent in my standards, or am I just picking favorites based on whose costume I prefer? Am I holding everyone to the same accountability, or am I giving passes based on marketing? Because accountability doesn't stop at your comfort zone. Standards don't bend just because you like someone's aesthetic, and neither do I. Drop your thoughts in the comments, but be honest with yourself this time. Tell me one moment where Cole contradicted his carefully crafted saint image and you made excuses for it because you wanted to protect the illusion. Tell me one time Drake's tough talk didn't match his background and you defended it anyway because the heartbreak songs hit too hard to let go. Let's see who's really ready to hold their favorites accountable with the same energy they hold everyone else, and who's just here to protect parasocial relationships with people who will never know their name. And Cole stands, keep disliking my videos, keep flooding my comments with the same tired defenses. Every dislike tells me I hit a nerve. Every defensive comment tells me I'm getting close to something you don't want to examine. And every nerve I hit gets us closer to the truth about your bike riding, chain-free, carefully calculated, spiritually manipulative savior. Until next time, keep your standards consistent, keep your favorites accountable, and stop giving passes based on aesthetics. Peace.